DK back at you with another video here for the NBA main slate here on Tuesday. We only got 5 games, so a little bit of a smaller slate. First, though, real quick, let's see how we did last night. So as you guys can see, it was another very good night for me, hitting all my cash games as well as my GPPs. Okay, so this was my final lineup that I ended up on. With Harden, Eric Gordon, Rodney Hood, Larry Nance, Vucevic, Bradley Beal, Otto Porter, Thomas Bryant. So once the news came out that Larry Nance was starting, I tweeted out, I love Larry Nance as a great value. He's only 5K, and when he gets put in the starting lineup, especially against a good matchup against Minnesota, he's going to play 30 plus minutes. So I was all over Nance. Again, it's important to follow me on Twitter if you don't, guys. I give my thoughts as news comes out. Rodney Hood, again, that was just more of a product of David Nwaba being out and him being forced to play minutes at a cheap salary. I was debating between him and PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker ended up actually doing better than Hood, but I thought Hood had a little more upside. And Eric Gordon and Harden, I kind of locked those in once Chris Paul was out. It was just easy play against the Wizards. They played no defense. And I knew those guys are basically going to play 40 plus minutes, so those were pretty easy plays. Vucevic, I talked about how I loved him at center tonight, and he was kind of low owned surprisingly at only 7.8K. He's been putting up 50 fantasy points on a regular basis. Golden State with no Draymond. I love targeting centers against Golden State when Draymond's out, because when Draymond's in, a lot of teams tend to match Golden State and kind of run small ball. So they kind of limit their centers. But when Draymond's out, Golden State always has a big center out there, whether it's Damian Jones, Kevon Looney, etc. So I knew Vucevic was locked in for some good minutes, and he did very good. Brad Beal, that salary is just too cheap for him at 7.4K. And then Otto Porter, he wasn't bad for his salary. I kind of got onto him once Dwight got out. And Thomas Bryant, a little disappointing. I was wrong. I did think he would play more minutes. He was getting about 18 minutes a game. And I thought the Wizards had played 3 straight small ball teams. So I thought Thomas Bryant would play another stint out there, maybe push for 25 minutes because Capella's a bigger center. But they just rode with Markieff Morris, and they actually limited Bryant even more to 12 minutes. So that definitely hurt me. I still in 12 minutes. It was over fantasy point a minute, so it didn't kill me at 3.4K, but not bad. So yeah, overall, it was a pretty successful night, and I'm ready to dig into this slate for today. Okay, so we got 5 games, and I believe, there's not really a high over-under. We got 220, 222, 208, 218, and 216. Some pretty low over-unders on the day. All right, so let's start at the point guard position. And we got Devin Booker at the top here at 8.6K. I do really like Devin Booker today, especially because he's been running the point. If Isaiah Cannon if they put him back in the starting lineup, that kind of, downgrades Devin Booker a little bit, just because his assists would go down probably a little bit, but not to worry. The salary is pretty enticing, and no Oladipo. I'm definitely highly considering Devin Booker today at a salary of 8.6K. This Toronto-Memphis game, I know it's only a 5-game slate, but I'm crossing this game off the list. I'm not even targeting anyone in this game. The lowest over-under by far. Toronto is such a deep team, and a terrible match against Memphis. And then Memphis on their side plays so slow, and Toronto's a pretty good defensive team. And I'm just crossing off the game. I'm not targeting any person in that game. So we got Jamal Murray at 6.9K. I do really like this salary for him. We got Gary Harris, still questionable. So Gary Harris missed the last 2 games. But, even with Gary Harris, when he's playing, Jamal Murray is still locked into some, 35 to 40 minutes. And I love this matchup against the Lakers. I love targeting players against the Lakers. Jamal Murray just seems a little too underpriced for me at 6.9K. Trae Young, your guess is as good as mine. Him and Jeremy Lin. If you want to take a shot on one of those two, I don't mind it. Young obviously has more upside, but Lin is cheaper, and it's just the Hawks are just a mess. Not a team I like targeting. They're in such a deep rotation. Not the best matchup either against Miami. So kind of off the Atlanta guys. Lonzo Ball. This is a play I really like here. With no Rondo, his minutes have been kind of secure here, 36, 33, and 29 the last three. So, I think he's got a floor of about 30 minutes. And, he's stuffing the stat sheet, which I really like. He's getting a lot of rebounds. The assists are kind of there. He's actually scoring the ball a decent amount, and he's a pretty good defender. He'll pick up a few blocks and steals here and there. This game, I really like targeting. I believe, let's see the over-under. It's 218, so it's the third highest. But these teams did play about a month ago, and the final score is 121 to 114. So I do think this game will go over the over-under. Let's see. Reggie Jackson, a guy I've not really considered all this year, and I guess I kind of have to consider him today at 5.4K. It's just these Pistons. I mean, outside of Blake Griffin and Drummond, it's hard to target anyone really. But the last two games, 33 and 31 minutes, he's been playing pretty good. Is that going to continue? He's going to play 30 minutes on a day-to-day basis? I don't know, because the two games before that, it was 22 and 23. So, yeah, it's really, he's in a great spot here against the Knicks, and I do think he'll be somewhat popular today. So, this is the first time I am considering Reggie Jackson as a play. Dwayne Wade, who we saw, he had that huge game, 35 real-life points. The matchup's pretty good here against the Hawks. I don't mind D-Wade. I hate playing a guy after a huge game. I'd rather target a guy once he has like an off game, and then hope for a bounce back. I don't really like targeting guys after a huge game. So I think I'm kind of off D-Wade for that purpose, just because I think he'll be high owned. People will be chasing. Again, Toronto, Memphis. I'm not really targeting anyone from that game. The whole New York guard situation, another situation that just, it frustrates me to no end, because you just don't know. Is it going to be Trey Burke? Is it going to be Moutier? Is it going to be Trier? I don't know. These guys' salaries are pretty good. 4.5 for Moutier. You got 4.7 for Burke. You got 3.8 for Trier. If you want to take a shot on one of them in a tournament, I definitely think it's viable, because one of these guys is going to have a good game. It's just, your guess is as good as mine as who it's going to be. So I don't like teams that just are inconsistent with their rotations. So we got the Indiana guys here with Corey Joseph and Collison. And is it just me, or has every single game for the Pacers been a blowout? I feel like literally they're either blowing out teams or getting blown out, because the starters, I think the last 5 games, have not seen any fourth quarter run. So it's kind of insane here for these Indiana guys. Again, they're either blowing out teams or getting blown out. So I do think guys like Collison and Corey Joseph are definitely in play here. Even Tyreek Evans, a lot of these guys haven't seen much fourth quarter run here, so they're pretty cheap salaries. And Noah Oladipo, I definitely do like those guys, and I don't mind taking a shot on one. Even Aaron Holiday, but again, I think his minutes have kind of been there because of the blowouts. Actually, all 4 of these games have been a blowout, and he's kind of comes off the bench late. So if this game stays close, I don't think Aaron Holiday will see those minutes. Let's move on to the shooting guard position. So we got Josh Richardson at 7.4K. The matchup's ideal here. His minutes seem pretty locked in. It's just, I think I'd rather pay up, the extra, $1,200 for Devin Booker, just because he has so much more upside. Richardson, he does have upside here, but, the match was pretty good. But again, I think I would rather pay the $1,200 more for Devin Booker. You got Tim Hardaway Jr. at 6.5K. He's one of the guys in the Knicks whose minutes are locked in. And, I don't mind taking a shot here. I kind of like he's had 2 kind of off games. He's going to shoot the ball a ton, and his salary has dropped. So I do kind of like Hardaway today at 6.5K. Definitely going to consider him. Let's see. You got Ingram. He's pretty locked into some good minutes here. The Lakers starters, they've been running him out there for some good minutes. They're kind of condensing the rotation, which I do like. The matchup against Denver is okay. it's not ideal, but not the worst matchup in the world. So Ingram, definitely consider him. See Tyreek Evans again. He hasn't seen any fourth quarter run either. Just been involved in the blowouts. I do think he'll be pretty low owned. We've seen he does have 40-point upside in limited minutes. So I've been burned a lot by Tyreek here last few games. Definitely though, I gotta consider him again. Let's see. Again, these fringe Detroit guys. If you want to take a shot on Bullock, he seems to be locked into some decent minutes. It's just, I don't know. It's hard trusting those guys, in my opinion. And then you got like KCP, Josh Hart, Stevenson. They're coming off the bench. KCP's, I guess, minutes are the most secure. But, Hart and Stevenson have been getting kind of limited here. So I don't think those guys are viable here. Again, Lakers are kind of running a more condensed rotation. Let's move on to small forward. You got LeBron at 10.9. I do kind of like the salary for him. It's dropped below the 11K mark, and he did have an off game kind of against the Magic. So I do think the ownership will be a little down on him. And LeBron, anytime he's out there, he has 70, 80-point upside. And Denver kind of struggles to guard small forwards. So I do really like LeBron as a spend up today at 10.9. Kawhi, no thank you again. I'm just ignoring that game basically. TJ Warren, I did get ejected last game against Detroit, so that's the only reason he saw 15 minutes. He should see about 30 to 35 minutes. And, his salary has dropped, so I do kind of like that salary for TJ Warren. Let's see, Kuzma. Again, this is more just a salary thing. The last 3 games, 29, 29, and 35 minutes. And, 5.2K doesn't do much to get you there for salary. So I do like Kuzma. Let's see. JaMychal Green, if you want to take a shot on him, I don't mind it. I think he would be locked into minutes if Jaren Jackson gets in foul trouble, which there is definitely a good shot that happens again, though. I'm kind of crossing out this game, but JaMychal Green at 4.2K, that's a pretty good salary, and he has shown he does have upside. Now we got Winslow at 4.2K. I do think he's going to be kind of chalky today, but I do like this play with no Dragic and Tyler Johnson. Winslow does run the point a little bit here. They run it with Magruder, Richardson, Winslow. So the last 2 games, 29, 30 minutes. Is that going to continue? I'm not sure. The game before that, 17. So it is a little risky, but the matchup's pretty good here. The salary's pretty cheap. So I do kind of like taking a shot at Winslow today. Let's see. Anything else down here? Not really. Okay, let's move on to power forward. Blake Griffin at 9.3K. Again, the matchup's pretty good, but I think I'd rather play Drummond if I was playing a Piston. Sabonis, you guys know how I feel about him. I love playing Sabonis every single night. I did play him. I actually made a separate lineup than my main last night, and I had Sabonis in it. Again, I had 23 minutes, 38 fantasy points. That was because of a blowout. He got pulled with like 5 minutes left. So, if this game stays close, Sabonis does, I think he pushed it for 30 minutes. And with no Oladipo, there's a lot of usage to be soaked up with that offense. And if he stays out of foul trouble, I think Sabonis is, he's going to get you 40 fantasy points with upside of 50. So I love Sabonis today. Again, he'll be coming off the bench, so he'll be kind of going against Rashawn Holmes a lot of the time. And Rashawn Holmes does not play a lot of defense. So I really, really like Sabonis here at 6.7. Again, I think he's going to be low owned today on the slate. He comes in low owned basically every single time, except the game where he started. But, I love Sabonis off the bench. And again, I think he's going to have no ownership. I think he has huge upside today. Millsap, just a guy, I never really play. At 5.9K, though, the matchup's pretty good against the Lakers. Just his minutes are, kind of limited. He doesn't really have 30-plus minute upside. But he has been pretty good here last few games. So I definitely think you can consider him. So Jaren Jackson would kind of be the only guy I would consider in this game. Just because, he does have immense upside. He had 7 blocks last game. It's just, This guy gets in foul trouble so much, and again, he's like the most inconsistent player in the league. Those minutes are kind of because of the foul trouble issue, but I don't know. 5.8K, it's decent. I do think it'll be somewhat popular. I'm considering, but I'll probably fade, just because of the matchup and his inconsistencies. Noah Vonleh, 5.6. So the Pistons run big, so Vonleh will have to play some decent minutes here. But the salary has kind of creeped up there to a point where he's not really that value play lock and load every day. It's still okay, but I think you can do better than Noah Vonleh today. Let's see. Okay, let's scroll down to these really cheap guys. And Plumlee, I know I've talked about him a lot, but look what he's done the last 3 games here. 27, 44, and 29 fantasy points. And he's 3.5K. So, is he going to see 21 minutes every night? No. They have kind of limited Jokic. That game was a blowout, and then Jokic in the OKC game just wasn't really playing well, so they kind of wrote it out with Plumlee. I think he has a floor of about, 15 or so minutes. Maybe a little below that, but, when he gets out there, he produces. I love targeting centers against the Lakers. At close to minimum price, I think he's very much in play for salary relief. And I think he can get you 20 fantasy points. And another guy in this kind of same realm here as Mason Plumlee is Richaun Holmes. They're very, very similar as they strictly play the backup 5. Richaun Holmes strictly plays backup 5 to Ayton, and Plumlee strictly plays backup 5 to Jokic. But, Richaun Holmes, Ayton is not getting the, 38 minutes a night or so. He's kind of being limited to 30 to 32. So I think Richaun Holmes, about the same as Mason Plumlee, about a floor, I would say about 15 minutes. And he, we've seen when he was on Philly and, Embiid would be out or a couple other guys would be out and Holmes had to play big minutes. Holmes was good. He's very productive. Again, in these limited minutes, he's pretty productive, at close to minimum salary. I kind of like taking a shot on Richaun Holmes. So definitely Holmes and Plumlee for salary relief. Probably 2 of my favorite plays for that salary relief play. So center, Drummond's in the ideal spot here against the Knicks. I'm kind of undecided on what I want to do. I don't like this guy. He gets in foul trouble a lot, and it seems to be when he's the chalk, he kind of lets everyone down. I do think he's going to be pretty popular today. Again, I love targeting centers against the Knicks, so I am considering Drummond. Gasol, again, no thank you. I will cross off that game. Jokic, I love this play. So the Orlando game was a blowout. Then OKC, he just shot the ball terribly, did not play well, kind of got in foul trouble too. But the 3 games before that, 34, 33, and 37 minutes. And I love targeting centers against the Lakers. So I think Jokic, could push for 33, 34 minutes. And that would leave Plumlee with the rest of about 15 minutes or so. So I definitely think it's viable to play both, but obviously Jokic has huge upside here, and his salary has dropped to 8.8K. So I do kind of like taking a shot here at Jokic for center. Whiteside, you got they just rode with Bam, and I can't take a shot on him today. It's just too risky. You don't know the minutes. Let's see, Ayton at 7.1K. He did have a pretty good game here against Detroit. Again, though, his minutes are kind of limited. I think I would honestly rather take a shot at Richaun Holmes at 3.3K than Ayton at 7.1. You got Enes Kanter at 6.8. He saw 41 minutes last game against Memphis. Mitchell Robinson did get in foul trouble there. So I'm kind of undecided on what to do with Kanter too. I love playing him. And, he does have some very good upside. The salary's not bad, so definitely considering Enes Kanter as well. John Collins at 6.2. I think I'll look elsewhere. Again, I don't like that he's only center eligible. So I think I'll look elsewhere than Collins. Anyone else really? Not so much. Okay. Well, I guess Miles Turner, 5.5K. With no Oladipo, he's been pretty productive here again. They have been involved in a lot of blowouts. I do think he's going to push for close to 30 minutes if this game stays close. So, I don't mind Miles Turner, but, I think I'd rather take a shot on Sabonis for a little more off the bench, just because Sabonis has more upside. Okay, so let's get into my core plays for today. Okay, so at the center position, I think Drummond's going to be very popular. Definitely considering him, but right now I'm leaning towards Jokic. I think those last couple games are going to scare some people off, but I love targeting centers against the Lakers, and I think Jokic is a pretty good play here at 8.8K. Power forward, you guys know, I'm going to Sabonis. I think he has a huge game here against Phoenix. Again, his ownership should be pretty low, so I do really like Sabonis there. Let's see, the shooting guard position, I'm definitely considering Devin Booker, but right now, Jamal Murray is 6.9K. If Gary Harris is out, even if Gary Harris is in, I think Jamal Murray is a pretty good play here. I love the matchup, so I do like Jamal Murray there. Point guard, 5.6K, Lonzo Ball. His scoring and his rebounds have been there. The last couple games, his assists haven't been there, but he does have the triple-double upside. So I do think this could be a game where he pushes for a triple-double. I'm not afraid at all of Jamal Murray defense, so I'm going to go Lonzo Ball there. Then lastly, let's go with salary relief play. Again, Mason Plumlee I'm definitely considering, but it's kind of negative correlation to have both in my lineup. If Jokic plays really well, he's going to see more minutes, and that kind of limits Plumlee. But then if Jokic plays better, gets in foul trouble, then Plumlee gets a good minute. So it's kind of negative correlation to have both in your lineup. So I think I would go Rashawn Holmes here at 3.3K. Again, he's going to see strictly backup 5 minutes, but he's been very productive when he does play. And there is a chance, Ayton could get in foul trouble, and Holmes sees even more minutes. So I think that's a pretty solid core for today. And you got about over 6K remaining. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. And I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content, please like this video, subscribe. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section down below. It's also important to follow me on Twitter. And yeah, I will be back tomorrow for a pretty nice main slate here on Wednesday. So I'll see you guys then.